What's up, Herminators? Today I'll be showing you guys Nostum's new zoo deck that he used to climb to legend rank this season. The reason why I'm showing you guys this deck is because, for one, it's really cheap, and second, it's really unique in its own way because it's by Nostum. If you guys want to check out his stream, check out the description below. So what's so different about this zoo deck compared to the others? This zoo deck has a lot more burst potential because we're running cards like Soulfire, Dark Bomb, and Arcane Golems. You don't really see that in typical zoo decks. So out of this whole deck, the only card I didn't like was Soulfire because it's such a risky card, and since it costs 1 mana now, it's not as flexible and it's usually a dead card. So when you're playing against aggro matchups, this card usually slows you down, which is not good because you're pretty much wasting a lot of time when aggro matchups beat you down way faster early game. So I removed the 2 Soulfires or 2 Mortal Coils. The reason why 2 Mortal Coils are better is because you can instantly use them. It's good against the aggro matchups because they really have a lot of low health creatures and it gives you a lot of tempo as well. And I know a lot of you guys might not have Loatheb, so I took out Loatheb for Implosion, and I know a lot of people might not like to run Implosion as well because of the RNG. You can easily take Implosion out for Shadow Flame or Hellfire. All of these cards are interchangeable is because they give a lot of board control. So let's talk a little bit about the deck. So what is a zoo deck? So a zoo deck is pretty much an aggro orientated warlock deck where we use a low curve to establish early board control and beat our opponents before late game. So we really emphasize on that board control. So what that means is that we don't always hit face. We need to know when to push for damage and when to trade at the same time. Some notable cards are Abusive Sergeant. We use this to do efficient trades, or you can put it down in turn 1 to establish board control. Flame Imp is a very strong 1-drop for 3/2. Usually, if you can pull off 1 attack with it, it's usually worth it. Leopard Gnome is a very strong 1-drop as well because it guarantees to do tons of damage to your opponent because its Death Rattle deals 2 damage to the enemy opponent, and usually you can pull off more than 1 attack with this card. Wardwalker is there to fend off early aggression, really good 1-drop to put down as well. Dark Bomb is usually there to do efficient trades, giving you tempo or to push for lethal. Haunted Creeper is a very good 2-drop as this is a very sticky creature, and when it dies it spawns 2 1/1 Spectral Spiders. This card has really good synergy with Direwolf Alpha as you can put it in between the tokens that it spawns to do damage. Ironbeak Owl is here to remove threats, but we potentially want to bypass taunts with this so we can push damage to the face. Nerubian Egg is really good in any aggro decks that can activate its effect. The reason for that is because usually this card is used for board control. Your opponent would think twice before using any board clear type of spells like Flame Strike on it, because if they don't play around it, it spawns a 4/4 minion, which is quite decent because it can do damage and has a decent body. Arcane Golem was unexpectedly good in this deck. The reason for that is because we can synergize with Power Overwhelming to do tons of damage, and sometimes we just need that 4 damage to win against our opponents too. So it's a really good clutch card and a good finisher. Dark Iron Doors is really similar to Abusive Sergeant. We buff up our creature to do efficient trades, or we can push for damage to the face. So Doomguard is a pretty tricky card to play because it drops 2 cards from your hand. So when I draw into this card, I want to dump my hands as fast as possible so I don't lose that much value from it. This deck is really good for beginners to pick up because it costs only 1,260 dust, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you already have a lot of these cards already. When playing this deck can teach you when to trade and also when to hit face to push for damage, because this deck is pretty much all about early board control and playing on the clock because you don't really want to play till late game because that's when you usually lose. So I'll see you guys in the gameplay videos and show you a couple of games how to play this deck. The Priest is a hard matchup for the zoo because they have a lot of removals, self-healing, and they can steal your cards at the same time. So I want to mulligan potentially everything. I would probably mulligan the Mortal Coil too, is because there's nothing really to Mortal Coil early. The 1-drop that I put down is Northshadow Cleric, and later on they play the Dark Cultist on turn 3. So this is a pretty good hand. We have Flame Imp, but unfortunately we have Doomguard, which we might need to unload our hand as fast as possible so at turn 5 we can just instantly play Doomguard without losing any value. So playing against the Priest, I want to put up as much pressure as possible, so playing down the Flame Imp is really good here. If he wastes Shadow Word Pain here, it's pretty good. But Holy Smite is good as well because he's not going to be playing a creature on turn 1 to stop us from the early aggression. I could easily play Direwolf here to push more damage. I will save the Abusive Sergeants for something else, or maybe push damage next turn. We just want to be more mana efficient, and the 2 health is really important because it survives against the Pyromancer and it can potentially trade into the Northshire Cleric. And the Abusive Sergeants are pretty easy to remove at the same time. So I'll probably just play the Haunted Creeper here. And I'll save the Abusive Sergeants because it gets wiped out by Pyromancer pretty easily, and he still has coin. He can easily coin in with into Auchenai and Circle of Healing combo, which can wipe out my whole board entirely, which is quite scary. Okay, here's the coin. So this is probably the Auchenai that I was talking about. It's probably Circle of Healing right now because there's a lot of aggression on the board, and if he doesn't remove it, he is going to lose. So he just wiped out my board. But I still have 2 1/1s. That's why Haunted Creeper is really good. So I can easily just wipe out that Auchenai and play a Leopard Gnome. Now I can actually risk pushing more damage because he just uses Auchenai and Circle of Healing combo. And next turn he can't use Holy Nova because it's only 4 mana. So I'm pretty much safe right here. I still have another turn to do tons of damage to his face. So he plays Light of Naaru here. It's not really a big deal. We can easily trade into it with the creatures we have on board because we have a lot of creatures to trade into that. Making 3/2 doesn't really make a difference either. So I drew into the Flame Imp, and since we need to push as much pressure as possible, we're gonna play the Doom Guard. It's mana efficient, and Flame Imp is not that much value anyways because it does 3 damage to our face, so we might as well drop it, right? So he's already at 10, which is really detrimental to him because if he still doesn't clear this board, he is really going to lose. So he Shadow Word Death my Doom Guard, which is pretty bad since now I have a really weak board and I'm hitting late games. And if he can still wipe out my board next turn, I'm going to potentially lose the game. So it's gonna tap, see what I get. Doom Guard. So I'm gonna Dark Bomb his face and push as much damage as possible so I can settle for lethal for next turn. Okay, he played a Sludge Belcher. Now that could be a pretty annoying, but I'm probably going to play my Doom Guard to get rid of that and see let's see if we get an owl. No, we don't get an owl. I'm not going to tap here because it's really not worth it. I'm just gonna play my Doom Guard and discard my Void Walker because Void Walker is really not important right now, and remove that taunt as fast as possible with my Doom Guard. So I'm just gonna play it. So let's tap first, let's see what we get. Okay, we got Mortal Coil, that's actually really good for us. So let's try to get rid of that taunt, trade our 2/1 into the freaking little taunt, which is so annoying. So he's only down to 1 health. In my opinion, that 1 health means 10 health. So we pretty much have not won the game yet because I'm pretty sure this guy can heal tons load to beat us. So let's see what, okay, so he has another Shadow Word Death. Pretty bad for us. So he's gonna heal himself, he's gonna trade, and he's gonna use Shadow Word for Pain. So he cleared my entire board and he's only at 3 health. Come on, man. 3 health. Okay, as long as he doesn't play a taunt, I have a lot of damage that I can draw into, but unfortunately we didn't draw into any direct damage. This is why Arcane Golem is really good in this Zoo deck. We can instantly finish him off if we draw, and I still have 2 in my deck. Oh my god, he Holy Fired. Holy Fire is so bad. Oh my, not bad for him, but bad for me. It just, oh my god. So 8 health, 8 health. I have 2 times the chances. Okay, 1. Alright, Arcane Golem. This is why Arcane Golem is really good in this Zoo deck. Just because it's a very clutch card and gives us enough damage with Power of the Overwhelming. Look at that burst. And we won against the Priest. Rogue is another hard matchup for the Zoo deck, and there's 2 types of Rogue deck now. There's like the Temple one with the Kal'Thuzad and the Ore Rogue. If it's the Ore Rogue, it should be a little bit easier. So this hand is pretty good. I'm probably just gonna keep everything. Implosion is pretty detrimental to the Rogue if he can't clear it with the Phantom Knives or the Blade Flare. And we have enough sticky minions. Like even if we play the Flame Imp and he just backstabs it, I think it's still pretty okay because we have a lot of things to back ourselves up with. We're just gonna play the Haunted Creeper because it's sticky minion. Even if he backstabs it, we still have the 1/1 tokens to take care of him. So here I'm just going to try to build up board. We're not gonna play Nerubian Egg. We're gonna play the Flame Imp and the Void Caller. Just put up more creatures on the board. The only way he's gonna wipe us out is if he plays the Deadly Poison and Blade Flare right here. But if he does that, then I'm just gonna unload everything if I draw into more creatures. So right now he plays the Earthen Ring Farseer, which is a little weird, and not that good. We can easily wipe that out with our Abusive Sergeant. So the trick into beating the Rogue is to never leave a single minion on their board alive. Because if you leave at least a single minion on their board alive, our opponent can easily combo into Tinker Sharp Sword Oil and do tons of damage to us. And we're probably going to regret it because it's gonna burst us down like there's no tomorrow. On the early game it's okay, but in the late game we need to clear as much shit as possible. So he wiped us. Luckily he didn't Blade Flurry there, because if he Blade Flurry it could have been really bad. We're just gonna Implosion. Even if we couldn't clear it with an Implosion, we're just probably gonna trade it in with our other creatures just to wipe out that SI agent out. Okay, this could be a problem because the Slug Pelcher is pretty annoying, just like the last game. Oh, luckily we draw into the Dark Bomb, so we can easily remove that. And we have tons of creatures on the board to trade into it anyways, right? So we're just gonna Dark Bomb, trade into it, and then we're probably gonna trade a 1/1 into the token. I probably should have traded my token rather than my Abusive Sergeant. That was sort of a mistake, but we can easily use our Mortal Coil here. And now we draw into it now, an owl. Oh my god. So this is sort of like a common mistake. We should have drew first with the Mortal Coil just to see if we are gonna get an owl or anything. But it doesn't really matter, does it? Since I'm not gonna tap anyways. But yeah, we should have always drew first. We can owl that. Owling Azure Drakes are good. But well, since we drew Mortal Coil, we're probably gonna take that out. Oh, we drew the Power Overwhelming too. That's pretty good as well. I don't want to use Power Overwhelming on my Nerubian Egg because, as I said on the deck tech, it's a board control type of card. It makes them think twice before Blade Flurrying. I'm going to give up a Haunted Creeper here, even if it means giving up board control. Oh, we drew a Deflame. That's really good. Should I play it? Should play or not to play? Should play. It doesn't really matter if he Blade Flurries here. Even if he Blade Flurries, we still get a 4/4 and a couple of 1/1. Tokens, so it's not that bad.
Pay attention,
Ooh,
class.
Violet Teacher. Always clear the Violet Teacher. It could turn out really bad because those 1/1 tokens can trade with a lot of shit that we have. So this is actually not that bad. He plays another Blood Mage Thanos as a cycle, and he doesn't really have a lot of creatures to play on in his hand. We drew a Dark Iron Dwarf, which is really good. We can use it for a lot of trading. Oh, we drew another one, which is also very good. We could use it next turn to do a lot of trading as well. I'm probably gonna use the Haunted Creeper to trade it to the Blood Mage, because it leaves my thing alive. I'll probably trade in that token. And my last token, I'm thinking of using the Power of the Overwhelming to trade to the Teacher, which is pretty good. It's not bad. I think it should be done. Yep. I'm not going to give up my egg just yet. I want him to waste resources cracking the egg and also Blade Flurrying, so it's like more resources for him to waste, which is really good for us. He plays another Violet Teacher. How many do you have, dude? Okay, so he daggers into the Haunted Creeper. Is he gonna Blade Flurry? You're gonna leave a 4/4. Oh, okay, so he's just Phantom Knives, which is also good at the same time. Usually when rogues leave the egg like that, it means he doesn't have Blade Flurry, because he can easily wipe out the board if he has Blade Flurry, but he doesn't. Okay, so I have the Doom Guard right now. It means that I have a lot of damage. Right now, he's at 16. We can't really clear his board efficiently, and he's almost dead anyways because we have a lot of damage in our hand. I might as well hit my Dark Iron Dwarf into his face, just so I can settle for lethal next turn. Wait, next turn I have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 15 damage. I don't particularly have enough for lethal, but I can potentially have lethal next turn. So I'm just gonna risk it, because if I don't risk it, I feel like I'm going to lose. So screw the 1/1. I'm not gonna trade into the 1/1. Probably going to hit the face. So I'm going to buff my Dark Iron Dwarf and hit him in the face, so it leaves him at 10 health, because if he doesn't clear this board, like now, he's going to lose, because leaving a creature on the board allows me to Power Overwhelming and use Doom Guard, and I only need 1 extra damage to finish him off, and I have a lot of damage in my deck to do that. And he doesn't have self-healing either, unless he plays Anti-Killbot, but that's a different story. So he cracks the egg. Okay, what's he gonna do? What the heck? He cracks the egg. Oh, okay, he has Blade Flurry. which is weird because he can't completely clear off my board, so there's no point of really cracking it or blade flaring either. So right now I have lethal, so I'm just gonna power overwhelming my. Yeah, that's right. So there's a lot of damage in this deck, and if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video on Friday, where I'll be talking about the meta. I'll see you guys next time. Stay gold, Herminators.